Hey guys, King of Charmanders, aka Drew here. Okay, so today I'm gonna show you this really random thing. Well, it's not really random. It's actually really good. The problem is it's kind of hard to get because any shadow Pokemon nowadays is really hard to get, especially if you may or may not have a viable one. But the one we're gonna look at today is Shadow Electivire. Now, Electivire is very strong in Premier Cup because of its ability to dish an enormous amount of damage in a short amount of time. The question is just how good is it really? Because shadows are expensive and shadows are hard to get, like I said. So today we are going to find out if this number 14 electric monkey of Shadow Death is actually really good in Premier Cup and if it actually belongs in its position.
Alright, so Electivire is kind of interesting. Actually, it's really interesting. As you see, it has these two antennas coming out of its butt, and I don't know why. And it's really... It looks cool, okay? It's buff. It's got all those Electabuzz markings on it. It looks like it could punch you in the face, and then you're gonna go flying 1,000 miles in the air. Well, that's pretty much what Electivire is. Electivire is such a great mod because of its attack stat. It has a very high attack stat, and it will hurt. It will wreck you if it does hit you. Well, given you don't have any shields anyways. So Electivire is number 466 on the Pokedex. It's really hard to get as far as like Shadow because nowadays you can't TM away frustration, and if you do have them from before, I might consider it because it has a very interesting move pool. So Electivire, like I said before, the electric monkey with its antennas coming out of its butt, it has a really high attack stat. The Shadow amplifies that attack. So it has very high attack, and it's kind of interesting because the only weakness Electivire has is ground. The problem is as you look on its stats, it's not very thick and it's not very healthy. In other words, you're going to have to play really hard. It's the glass cannon from Giratina's Underworld. That's what Electivire is as a shadow. As you see, it resists electric, flying, and steel. The steel's a big one because you can resist Metagross's Meteor Mashes, but I'd be careful about doing that because, like I said, he's not a thick boy. It's not a very thick boy. Well, if you have female one, it's, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, so as you see here, Thundershock and Wild Charge is its highest moveset, its most DPS damaging moveset. It's a max CP of 3079, very high attack, like I said, not very glass cannon propel, and it's originally found in Sinnoh region. And like I said, if you want to, like, if you look at its moveset, Thundershock is what you want because of the energy gain. Thundershock will generate energy quickly, and those wild charges will wreck you. It also has Ice Punch. The Ice Punch is what makes it really interesting. Don't ever please don't ever use Low Kick. Like, it's such a bad move, and if you are using, there's, like, Low Kick doesn't do anything against Togekiss. If you use Togekiss, it's just gonna laugh at you like it always does to anything that it resists. And don't freaking do it, okay? Just don't use Low Kick. Use Thundershock. Thundershock. There's only two moves, Thundershock and Low Kick. Use Thundershock. So the reason why it's so good is because of Wild Charge. Wild Charge will one-shot a lot of things in the right ranges, and if there's no shields, it does so much damage, or you can force shields too. And Ice Punch is very interesting because it does do Ice has a lot of great matchups as far as typings and moves itself for Premier Cup. You will do double damage against Dragonite. You will hit Togekisses really hard if you don't want to use your Wild Charge. It can also bait Shield if you are trying to do that double Wild Charge and then flip out. Or if you're in a situation where you can't afford to have Shadow Electivire to get its defense lowered because you know it will die, you could probably bait a Shield or something. It has a lot of utility. Ice Punch is a really good move. Like I said, as a shadow Pokemon, it's a little hard to get. It's also a little expensive. If you haven't been playing since Generation 1, you do need to, like, if you haven't been playing since Gen 1, it's not likely you'll have Electabuzz Candy, or you'll have one just, like, sitting around. Its charge move does require 75,000. For those of you that don't have a lot of resources, that might cost a lot. It's a very costly Pokemon that, if played well, will give you huge benefits, but if you can't play it well, it's a glass cannon, so it won't be very bulky, and in like closing scenarios, if you don't have energy, it can be incredibly stressful. Alright, so here's our peakpoke.com analysis. Like I said in every one of my videos, if you would love to donate to this amazing website which allows us to do everything I do and everything else, everyone else that's a great battler, please consider donating to GitHub or Patreon over here. All you have to is click on it and poof, it'll take you to the right website. Again, great resource. Again, Kakuna Matata, great human being. Thank you for everything you do for us. And if you would like to donate support, please just click on the link over here. So on the rankings from Premier League, not Premier Cup, the Premier Cup, not the Premier League, the Premier Cup. So the Premier Cup is interesting. Premier Cup, when I looked below, I was doing scrolling one day and I looked at this really weird, not really weird pick, but this really interesting pick. Shadow Electivire. Now, Shadow Electivire is really interesting because of 3 key things. It beats the top 3 BBML core. So it beats the well, not really BBML, well, minus Shadows. If you take away Shadow, Metagross, and Shadow Snorlax, the top BBML is Togekiss, Metagross, and Dragonite. That's your BBML. And it beats all 3 of them. It also has a very unique moveset. It has Thunder Shock, Ice Punch, Wild Charge. Thunder Shock for the energy gain, Ice Punch, and Wild Charge to take out the meta. So it's a very interesting pick. The only when I was looking at it, I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Because Shadow Electivire, as you see here, it's very strong in all 3 categories. As a lead, as a closer, as a switch, it's over 90%, which is really good. It's also very highly rated as a charger. So it's incredibly powerful, and like I said, it does beat all 3 of the BBML. So I looked into it some research and I was like, wow, this thing could actually be really beastly. So let's take a look at its positions after this. So let's take a look at its positions after analyzing the Premier Cup analysis. It looks like it's very, very strong. As you see over here, it beats almost 75% of matchups, which is really, really, really good in the 1 shield. And in 2. So I think this giant electric thunder ape of King Kong is so strong just because look at its power. 2,350. It's very high. Its attack is incredibly high. It will wreck you. It does a lot of wreckage. As you see in the 2s, it's not very, as you see in the 2s, not super strong compared to its 1 shield cousin, but it's very powerful. And in my opinion, it can be very, very versatile. Very strong. That the Electric King Kong might have a lot of play in Premier Cup for Season 2. It's really interesting because if you look over here, we looked at Electivire. Shadow Electivire is number 5 in the lead. And I can see why, because you'll beat Togekiss and Metagross. I can see a lot of Togekiss happening in Premier Cup, and you get the Electivire in front. If you close out against said combination, you might do very, very well. So as you see, as a lead in the closer, Shadow Electivire actually places in the top 10 of each category. That's incredibly interesting. It's, like I said, extremely powerful, extremely interesting, and as you see, its matchups in the lead, it beats the top 3 BBML core. Along with that, it beats like things like Gyarados and even Machamp. Now, it's kind of concerning because Swampert can be annoying. It can be, I can see it happening in Premier Cup to be a very prominent pick. And also, if you get Garchomp in the closer, it's very dangerous. You also lose against Snorlax, Mamoswine, Tyranitar. Snorlax, as you see here, these aren't very common picks, but you can still expect to probably see them in Premier Cup. As a closer, the Electric King Kong Monkey dominates the closing scenario against Togekiss, Snorlax. Remember how Snorlax would beat you in the lead? You close out against Snorlax, and I'm assuming that's because of Wild Charge. Now your key losses in the lead are Dragonite, because I'm assuming because with no shields, Dragonite does heavy damage with those Dragon Breaths. It also flips around, as you see over here in the closer. Electivire looks like to be a very interesting pick, because the things that you normally would wreck in the lead, it wrecks you in the closer, except for Togekiss, because Togekiss dies to any Wild Charge with no shields anyways. Well, not any Wild Charge, that's pretty much most Wild Charges, because it's a flying type, okay? It gets wrecked. It gets wrecked. Now as a switch, you beat the Metagross safe switch. So if they safe switch into you with Metagross, this could be your counter to that Metagross safe switch. As you see here, key losses are against Swampert as usual, Rhyperior, etc., especially even Shadow Swampert. But it looks to be very powerful. As you see, you still beat the top 3 even in a switch-in scenario and elite scenario. So that's really, really good. And I'm assuming the reason why is because of the shadow damage. If we took a look at its stats if we took a look at its all of Shadow Electivire's matchups, it has a very high attack stat as the sacrifice of its defense. But however, Thundershock Wild charges so quickly that Wild Charge, you will get to Wild Charge quickly, and Ice Punch isn't very expensive to get to. It's very, very strong. If we run a Battle Simulator and we do a Shadow Electivire versus a Togekiss, for example. So let's do a Electivire Shadow version, and then we'll do it against Metagross. Let's examine a little closer. Why is it so powerful? So we get the one shield scenario, and Electivire wins because you grab. There's the thunder. Oh wait, hold on. Wrong moveset. Ice Punch. Okay. So it's going to take you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Ice Punch is 40 energy, so it's going to take you 5 Thunder Shocks, which is 9 energy to get to a Ice Punch. Wild Charge also costs 45 energy, so it takes about the same amount of Thunder Shocks to get to an Ice Punch as it would a Wild Charge. So this makes it to where you can bait with Ice Punch or just double Wild Charge, break that shield, and it looks like you'll have that little bit of extra, like, so you break the shield, you double up, and then you fire. So it's very much like a Magnezone or like any other like Wild Charge mon. You double up and then you go to town. That Ice Punch seems to give it that extra viability. As you see here, you win the 2s, you win the 1s against Metagross, and I'm assuming it does the same thing against Togekiss. This makes it a very interesting pick for Premier League, Premier Cup. As you see here, all you need to do is Ice Punch that one shield down, and then Wild Charge, and then GG's. You seem to lose the 2 shield scenario just because it's the charms. It only takes 8 charms actually to kill you with Electivire. So it's not very bulky. I can see that being a problem, but if you are able to hit those to squeeze out enough of its HP, because as you see here, it still is able to get that second one with about a little bit left with Thunder Shock. So if you're able to take advantage of it, it seems to be very powerful. Now, let's take a look at a training sim. As we saw here, Shadow Electivire has a very powerful attack. How about before we move on to the training sim, I'd like to see how it does against Dragonite. I'm assuming Ice Punch does heavy damage if the Ice Punch lands. So we get these around here. You actually lose the 2 scenario. How about the 1 shield? So you'll lose the 2s, but in the 1 shield, Shadow Electivire, 1 Ice Punch does 137 points of damage. That's a lot of damage for only 40 energy. That's pretty cheap, because even if you do 5 Thunder Shocks, you still have 5 energy left. That does a lot. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. That hurts. That hurts. So, wow. Alright, let's test it out. So Shadow Electivire is the problem with Shadow Electivire, as I said in the Go Hub analysis, is you can't get it anywhere, you know what I mean? It's kind of just one of those, you can't really get it. Yeah, you can't get it anywhere. That's the problem. I don't know a lot of those that have Shadow Electabuzz, and Shadows are very expensive. So if you do have one, it's very powerful. However, I'd consider being a little careful. We'll do Metagross just because I love Metagross as a safe switch. So we'll do Metagross as a safe switch, and then we'll go ahead and close out with, let's see. Let's close out with Togekiss is very, let's try a double steel strat. So I'm gonna no, we'll do, let's see, what's an amazing closer? What's a good closer? I'll do Togekiss. Because if we lose the lead, we beat dragons, let's do Garchomp. We'll do Garchomp, and we'll give it Outrage, Earthquake, as usual. Alright, so we'll do that. So I'll give it Sand Tomb. We did an experiment. Sand Tomb is actually be better, but I'll give it Earthquake just in the closing scenario, because we're gonna use it to close out. Alright, so here's our 3. We're gonna get ready. Let's make sure we have the right movesets. Thundershock, Ice Charge, Wild Charge, Bullet Punch, Meteor Mash, Earthquake, Much Up, Earthquake, Outrage. Alright, perfect. So everything's set. And now we get to the first battle. We get Togekiss versus Electivire. This is amazing. So I can expect my opponent to switch out immediately. We do get the switching into the Metagross. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to double Wild Charge to break both shields. Hopefully we can grab both shields in this scenario. If we do grab both shields, that'd be amazing. We get one shield, and then hopefully we grab the second one. And after that, I can send in my opposing Metagross, and we can just Earthquake you down, which is amazing. So we get both shields. Okay, I need a shield here. We grab both, but we have to shield once because I don't want my Metagross to get wrecked. I don't want my Electivire to get wrecked. Let's see how much. Ooh, that doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would be. Like, you can survive subsequent bullet punches. So how much does Wild Charge do in this scenario? We have shields down. Oh, that does so much damage. Wow, did you see that? Oh my god, it got wiped. Whoo! You could triple Wild Charge out of Metagross. That was incredibly uncomfortable. We get Machamp versus Garchomp here. I should be able to just use one Outrage. I was expecting that switch out. And all we have to do is just really bullet punch down this Togekiss. Such a dominant matchup. Ouch. Woo! That was disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting. That was ouch. So you could pop both shields and still kill a full power Metagross with Wild Charge. It does so much damage. We get Machamp versus Metagross. At this point, it's GG's. We have Garchomp in the back with Outrage energy. We could just finish this matchup out right away. But as you saw, we didn't even need to switch out. You just got absolutely destroyed, annihilated, obliterated. It was a massacre. Wow. Shadow Electivire is a sweet mod. Holy mother of mercy, that was disgusting. Alright, so as you see here, we take out the Machamp. We won with a shield, and Electivire did work. Let's try it again. That was ouch. That was incredible. We get a Togekiss again against an Electivire. So Electivire is going to wreck you if our Togekiss friend here does not elect to switch out. So we can double up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we do double the damage. Well, not 9, 10. So we do double the damage against Garchomp with Ice Punch. So I'm going to break both shields here if they elect to shield. We get one, and we're going to do the second one. We will pop both shields in this scenario, and then I'll send Garchomp against his Garchomp with Outrage Energy. We pop both shields with double Ice Punches. They send in the Garchomp. This can be an this is probably an Outrage, so I'm going to shield this one. Yes, it is an Outrage. Perfect. This would have KO'd us. So we're gonna just Outrage opposing here. We'll save it. We'll save the shield. And then we should be able to just, perfect, beautiful. So we get the Outrage off. This takes out this Garchomp. They're going to send in their Togekiss. That's fine. We have Metagross anyway, so then we can kind of just reshuffle everything. We take out the opposing Garchomp with Outrage. We got a shield. This is incredible. We're in a great situation right here. We should be able to line up Metagross with this Togekiss, so then we're perfectly fine. I should be able to shoot one more Outrage off just for extra damage. You might as well do it. Outrage does a lot of damage, even Earth. Well, it doesn't do a lot of damage when it's resisted, but we want to do as much chip damage as possible against Togekiss. As you see here, Togekiss takes heavy damage, and our Garchomp is taking heavy damage as well, but that's perfectly fine. Then Metagross is going to come along here, and we get a Typhlosion into our Metagross. This is okay because I have Earthquake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shield here, and then we're just going to Earthquake you down. As you saw there, Electivire pretty much broke both shields and just went to town. It was a massacre. It was a lot of wreckage. We can get the Earthquake over here, and this will take out the poor opponent's Metagross. Typhlosion will get wrecked. The Earthquake will leave you quaking, like Quaker Oats. Quaker Oats is a great breakfast, by the way. I definitely recommend it. Great. I'm gonna send in Electivire just to see what happens. 2, 3. Okay, it takes heavy damage. Okay, never mind. That didn't work out too well. That would have been, yeah, that didn't really work out too well. That was kind of a bad idea. As you saw there, it does not survive very well. We get taken out by the Flamethrower, but I just want to see like how fast it dies. We actually would have won this matchup if we stayed in because we would have got that meter mash. As you see, Togekiss with the Flamethrower will close out the Metagross. But that was just something for me to see. Like, just be careful, be aware of Togekiss, because Togekiss will wreck you. We get Swampert into Electivire. This is kind of bad. Actually, this is bad. Yeah, this is actually really bad. We get, oh man, oh, this is horrible. Remember when I was talking about those Swampert leads? Yeah, Swampert be swamping. Swampert be swamping. So Swampert is very bad because it resists wild charge. At the same time, it does heavy damage. And our line here is kind of like, oof. So it looks like if you're going to run Electivire, make sure you have two things that can beat a Swampert. Because Swampert is going to be your arch nemesis. We are going to just... I need to say both shields. This is probably a flame... Actually, I'll shield this. This is a flame... Oh, it's an ancient power. I got you baited. That's great. We needed that shield too. So I'm just gonna farm down here. I want this earthquake energy. We need to take out all those shields. That's my problem here. Yeah, that's the problem here. We need to take out those shields. Hopefully this Togekiss elects to use an ancient power again. I don't see why not. It's probably gonna use a flamethrower. Yep, it's an ancient power. Okay, perfect. We resist this. They're gonna send in this Swampert. I'm going to earthquake. If Swampert, well, he has two shields. It's gonna shield this. Yep, it does elect a shield. We do have subsequent shields, however, we're in a bad situation right now. I am not going to shield. I might should be able to live. Oh, it's an earthquake. Never mind, we don't live that. Ouch. And then we get Electivire in the back. As you see, these mud shots will chunk, and we don't have the ability to switch out, so this is bad. This is very bad. I have to. How much damage does Hydro Cannon do? A lot. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh my lord. Okay. Okay, as you see there, Electivire losing the lead is very bad. If you get a Swampert in the lead, like I said, pick two things that beat Swampert. You need something that beats Swampert in the lead in the closer. We didn't stand a chance. Very powerful. First battle was very powerful. Second battle was kind of dumb. Third battle was kind of thing. I'm gonna do one more battle just in case. But we'll, like, as you see, if you do win the lead, it's very powerful. Or if you can get into a switch. So our opponent elects to switch in here. We get a Dragonite. That's fine. I'm going to charge up here. And then we'll... Oh my god, these Dragon Breaths do so much damage. Alright, don't leave your Electivire in with a Dragonite. Because, oh man, that does so much damage. We're going to send Metagross in here. Metagross will be able to wall everything, thankfully. Oh, that was very painful. We're going to Meteor Mash. If I can bank both shields, we have great advantage. However, that Togekiss is very healthy still. Alright, so we managed to break a shield, which is great. I want to take this to the no shield. I don't need to block anything. I resist everything this Dragonite has to throw at me. Even if it does shoot another Dragon Claw, we'll live it. Yeah, I will live this. So even this Dragon Claw Hurricane, we will survive. I can hit the second Meteor Mash. Will win switch! Oh, it's a Draco Meteor! Oh, no! Oh, my. Alright. This is very bad. Okay. So AI happens to be carrying Draco Meteor. That does KO and that's there. We have to shield this because it does heavy damage. I'll double up. Alright, we're over energy. So I have an Outrage ready to fire. The problem in this scenario is that Togekiss is still alive. I should have shielded. We're gonna switch out. I'm gonna Ice Punch here, which is the move. Oh, an Excadrill. Okay, I think we're in trouble. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble, guys. Oh god, that does so much damage. Oh man, Excadrill does so much damage. We're gonna fire the Ice Punch because ground does resist Wild Charge, unfortunately. So we get that. Yeah, this is GG's. That double weakness. So it looks to be here is like Electivire as showcase is very powerful in the lead, but you gotta be careful because he's very squishy. Very squishy. As you see here, that Togekiss will come in. If we actually blocked one move, it would be fine. I'll do one more just to showcase it. But as you see here, this really does show you just how careful you have to be Electivire. You have to keep it as healthy as possible. So we're going to get both. Hopefully we pop both shields here, but we might get a switch. We do get the switch. Swampert does appear here. And now this is kind of bad because Swampert is very powerful against all of our picks. Except, yeah, it's still it's still good against Garchomp just because Hydro Cannon does neutral damage. We managed to catch the Hydro Cannon. So I'm going to want to do this. Break both shields, take out the Swampert, and close out. Let's see if we can do that. Unfortunately, Swampert outpaces everything I have to offer. So it looks to be the lesson here is make sure you have great coverage against Swampert because it will wreck you very hard. It does wreck very hard. We'll be able to pop a shield here, but then we're going to have to make sure our Garchomp is able to close out against this Swampert. So we pop this shield here, and it fires energy, which is really great, but we need to take this Swampert out because Swampert's gonna swamp. Swampert going swamp. So we need to take this Swampert out ASAP. They switched into us, so I need to get this outrage off before they switch in, which hopefully we can because the timer's clicking. We get this we get the Togekiss back in. I'm going to Ice Punch here. We should break the second shield. Oh, we don't even break the second shield. Alright, I'm just gonna punch you to death. Okay, that's kind of bad. Well, even with Wild Charge, our defense would be lower to be bad. And also, we have Swampert lurking in the back. We get the shield, which isn't good. Oh, man. We have 2 shields on our Garchomp, and we have a Togekiss. So we took out both shields. This should take out Togekiss. It doesn't take out Togekiss. That's even worse, because we're gonna try to farm down here and take heavy damage from these charms. Swampert's gonna come out. We have 2 shields still. We have to use them. We shall. I'm gonna try to gather a little bit of energy here and just hope that we can close out with this Earthquake. Swampert's very strong against this team. Alright, so we do get the outrage off. We managed to get a little bit of energy so that we can hopefully sweep whatever's in the back with the shield. So we have shield advantage with Garchomp. And it happens to be a Snorlax. Okay, so we should be able to get 2 outrages off because of that extra energy I got from that Swampert. We should be able to shield against that Body Slam. And then we managed to... this was a really rough battle. As you see here, you got to pull out all the stops. You got to pull out all the stops if you have a Swampert against an Electivire. And even against Togekiss, just because you don't get that, it just does so much damage. And because Electivire is so squishy. As you see here, if we match Claws out, we do get the W thanks to Garchomp having extra shield and having great energy management. GG's. Alright, we did really well. I showcased 5 battles here. As you see here, you gotta be very careful with Electivire. You can win, but you gotta be very careful against Togekiss and Swampert. Yeah, you beat Togekiss, but it does so much damage with Charm that you just gotta be careful. Electivire I can see is more of a Glass Cannon Shield Breaker, and then you can close out with it. But as you see, if you get Togekiss and Swampert, just be careful. Practice, practice, practice. It's a very good pick. And then let's take a look at we'll review all this in summary. But yeah, it looks to be very strong, but you have to be very careful about using it.
Alright, so the summary for Shadow Electivire is it's very powerful, but it's glassy. The glass cannon from hell, this thing will wreck you if you use it very carefully. Wild Charge can break both shields, and then you can go and send whatever is in the back to sweep, but be careful if you don't have energy. Now, the reason what I mean by be careful if you don't have energy is if you, like you saw in The Sims, if you don't have energy, it's really dangerous because Shadow Electivire isn't very glassy, so getting to a Wild Charge can be a problem, especially if your opponent has energy advantage or shield advantage. So just be careful of that. One of the best glass cannons in Premier Cup, if used correctly, I believe, Shadow Electivire can definitely make an impact. But like in the extra notes, make sure you watch out for your switch clock. If you do switch out from Shadow Electivire after doing that double Wild Charge strat, just be careful because you need to run your clock. If you're gonna run Wild Charge, you need to get out of there because Shadow Electivire does not have a lot. It's not very thick, so you gotta be careful. Anyways, if there's anything you want me to analyze, please put in the comments. And please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.